Okay, so we just went into great lengths in discussing and detailing the how to use our hands and our legs and how to push our horse into that diagonal and really drive from that outside hand, lifting that shoulder and exchanging that range of motion and being forward. Well, so this is, again, like I've said, a perfect position, and the perfect position for our horse to execute anything, whether it's a lead change, a stop, and it's the best way for us to go in a fast circle, or to go in a counter canter to teach a lead change, or to go in a straight line and really have our horse drive from under but behind himself, but not go sideways, and have their shoulders very straight and up and pointing in the directions that we want to go, and not have to be having our hands to the inside begging him to go there or begging him to go there, but we have a horse that's very balanced and driving. So again, this position is the ideal position for everything, and that includes the spin or the rollback. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how I use this exercise to teach my horse how to spin in a better position. Okay, so now earlier I said if I want to be following my nose in if I want my horse to follow his nose in a small circle, just like so, my hand is going to be right here above that shoulder. Okay, because this is the direction I want my that inside leg to step. If I put it here, then I want that inside leg to step in that direction. Okay, but now if I'm going to open my inside hand to the inside, which is going to be right about here, well, then this is exactly where that inside leg should be stepping. And at this stage I have full control of that inside shoulder, so I'm gonna test it out and work on that until I feel that I control that inside step perfectly. So I'm gonna bring my hand to the inside in neutral position, which is now telling my horse, hey, go forward, follow your nose in that small circle. And I'm driving with my outside leg because I want my horse to go forward and keep that rib cage in and not stick it out, not bend himself too much, and that's causing him to put his hip a little bit too much inside. So I'm going to make sure that when he thinks about pushing his hip too much inside and lose that forward motion, I'm going to stop pushing that with my outside leg and just bump him a few times in order for him to think about walking forward and following his nose. There you go. Now when I feel I have control over that shoulder, I'm just going to open my inside leg and my inside hand, and at this time my horse should go into that spin in the same comfort zone, in the same position that I had him when I was walking, or when I was trotting, or when I was loping, going in a counter canter or a straight line. It's the same body position, just different direction. And so my horse sat on his hind and started crossing, but although we were not walking anymore, we never lost our forward motion. My horse step went from this to this, okay? But it's always forward. The spin is a very forward motion. And if your horse sits back and stops to go forward when you go into that turn, you need to go forward again and get control over those front feet again, okay? It's very important, okay? So again, too much hip inside, not enough forward motion with the leg. So I'm gonna bump with my outside leg here a few times until he thinks about following his nose and is not thinking about pushing his hip inside. Now that he's in a good position, I open my leg, open my hand, and wait. And when my horse does the right thing, I release. When I release, I would like my horse to keep going because the demand comes from my inside leg. This is what's telling my horse, hey, a door has opened here. If that door closes, now we're back into walking into that small circle where we're in a perfect left diagonal, but we are walking because this door is closed. But if I open this door, I expect my horse to to get into that spin without losing any forward motion, following his nose. There, I feel that now I am ready. Open the door. Good. Okay, so not too bad. This is not something I've done with this horse talking about it, so for sure he's listening to what I'm saying and thinking about, thinking a little bit more, and I'm a little bit less focused on what he's doing, but it still was a pretty positive reaction. I found that his body was a little bit too bent and he was sticking his rib cage out a little bit, which is something that he does often on that side, so I'm gonna repeat it until he straightens up his body. But again, at this stage and from the earlier stages on, when I introduce the horse to the spin, is before I really start to worry, and this is what we're developing now, the tools to do that, but I will wait a little bit later to really worry to mechanically interfere into how my horse is spinning or performing that maneuver. right now, if I feel that he is too bent, I'm just gonna increase a little bit the drive with my outside leg and remind him, hey, just follow your feet and move your feet. If my horse is thinking of moving his feet in the same forward motion as he does when we're walking or trotting, then that should be enough for him by himself to bring his body in a more straight position, in a better position, and not sit on his outside hind leg. But it's something that for now I'm tolerating until I develop a certain cadence and a confidence into the maneuver in order for me to then start to interfere by straightening them up. And so this is going to come in the next videos as this horse becomes a little bit more advanced, or we start to look at optimizing the maneuvers. But here, if I want to increase that forward motion, is instead of walking, I'm going to trot, make him work a little harder. Be very patient here and hold that contact here until you really feel that inside chin, that inside shoulder really gets soft, and the feeling is that chin is going to really give and come close to that shoulder bump. So you don't want to have your horse too bent, but if you feel that your horse is not really giving to your inside hand here and is just stiff, then you may need to leave this exercise alone for a little bit and go and do a few flexions that directions and get that softened up again, and then go back and work it again in a collection. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, good. There I felt his body was bent a little bit, but I felt a good, you know, he put his energy and his mind into his front feet, what they were doing, didn't lose the forward motion. So this is where I felt I had fairly good control over that inside shoulder and was able to practice this maneuver at a sort of a cruise control pace where it's just comfortable for my horse to make that move to the best of his ability with the most extended range of motion in his front feet, with all the power being there and my horse being able to be really relaxed, tolerating my outside leg to drive him into that turn and help him and just really, you know, in balance. And so I need to have this very, very solid into my horses before I start interfering into trying to mechanically teach them how to do it better or harder. But right now I need to develop this comfort zone into the spin the same as I have it when I'm walking. Oh, very good. So stay tuned for the next videos, because we're going to start to get into this a little bit deeper and start to control the body a little bit differently in order to address several different issues that we may encounter with our horse at this stage. But this is where that it gets really fun, because now we have very good control over our horse's body. They are fit, they are soft, and they are allowing us to teach them and bring them to the next level. And this is a feeling that is just really addictive. And so I cannot wait to come in the next day and get to work on this and continue and develop that. So I hope that your horse is responding well to what we're doing so far. And so if you have any questions, don't hesitate, write me a message. Send me a private message. I'll be happy to work with you. I would be happy to do a live training session with you via phone, via video, via live stream, whatever it takes to get your horses caught up and help you out of some situations that you may have a hard time getting out of. Please don't hesitate to reach out. This is what I'm here for, and I'm devoting as much time as I can each week into bringing you new content. But it's important that I get feedback from you so that that content is directly affecting you in a positive way and help you move forward along as we are bringing this whole program out to you. And don't be afraid to step back into the basics of the foundation in order to go plug some holes and strengthen your foundation so that all this can be easier and can be done without any problems or any fight with your horse. There should be a complicity and a good relationship between you and your horse. It should be easy. If it's not, then you have to figure out why, and the only way to do that is not by asking more, but it's going to be by asking less. If you come out with your horse and always see your horse as a horse that's a little bit greener but doing well, rather than a horse that's advanced but not doing well, well, you're going to approach everything with a little bit more patience and a little bit more positive energy and attitude, and I think that it's going to help your horse give you more in return. So again, if you have any issues, don't hesitate to reach out. Until the next video, thank you for joining in, and we'll see you in the next one.